3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point, you realized you were married into crazy.
And that's what our podcast is all about. We offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as we unpack this crazy thing called marriage.
So sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
All right, let's go.
Welcome back to the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. I'm Lovey.
I'm Snooks.
And as always, we're very thankful for you coming back and sharing this time, whatever it may be. If it's your commuting hour, if it's your gardening time, if you're on the treadmill, if you're working out, whatever it may be. If this is your Zen moment where you just need to hear the melodic voice of Snooks.
Hello, hello.
And I just talking about life, talking about marriage. For those of you that might be new, we are a couple that's been married for 24 plus years, 24 and a half to be exact. And we're just sharing a lot of the things that we've gone through, and we're bringing other couples on board to talk about their experiences and trying to create solutions to make sure that we all have an amazing experience when it comes to our marriages. Mm-hmm. Why are you smiling?
I was just thinking about the date. Today is August 16th. Mm-hmm. And I was just reminiscing how 2 months ago, it was your birthday. We were in Jamaica, having a good time on vacation. Let me see, what time is it right now? It's like 6 something. I don't know what time it was, but I feel like right now we're at dinner on the beach.
And see, this is what she does on a daily basis.
Yep. I reminisce about Jamaica on a daily
all the time.
Basis.
Do you know that? How many times over the course of the last over the course of the last week have you been like,
how many times?
2 months ago we were in Jamaica about this time.
How many times? 2 times. Because we were only there. We got there on the 14th. Today's the 16th. So I couldn't have been doing it all prior to this week. Lovey, stop it.
It wasn't even about the date. She is on and off like, I want to go back to Jamaica.
Yeah, I said I want to go back to Jamaica, but I'm talking specifically about us being there at this time. So it started on the 14th. So when we got there, and I was like, oh, the 15th we did this. Oh, the 16th, 2 months ago, was your birthday. Anyway, I'm not celebrating you no more.
Yeah, okay, you know why she's doing this right now? Here's why. She may not even know it, but subconsciously.
What, I'm wishing for Jamaica again?
Yes.
Well.
You know why?
Because of Turks and Caicos?
Snook started a new job today. So she left the job that she didn't leave the job.
Well, I did leave the job, but they closed our prison down. So I transferred to headquarters, and I didn't want to go to work. Yesterday, I was kind of feeling some kind of way.
Them Sunday blues.
Yeah, it was a different kind though, because it was, anxiety when you start in a new place or whatever. And even though it's, I'm thankful because it's much closer to home. I'm not commuting like I was before. Different hours though. So, I got to get the feel of being back in an office per se. It's been 11 years since I actually worked I worked in the office in the prison, but it's a different type of office, a real office building kind of thing. So I was like, wow, it's been 11 years.
And so she was used to getting home at a certain time, real early. Today she came home, she went straight in and started cooking. I shouldn't be complaining, but she went straight to the kitchen, started cooking and saying that she's got to make some food and blah, 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 doing all that. Then she had to jump on a church conference call. And then she was like, oh, we got to do the podcast. And then she's like, when I got time for me? And I'm like, hey, welcome to the grown-ups world.
Wow.
So she's reminiscing.
So
I want to go back to Jamaica.
No, that's not why. I'm just going to quit my job.
I gave her that option too.
So I can have time. Actually, I will say Lovey did give me that option. He was like, look, if you don't want to work, you don't have to work, and we'll just make whatever adjustments we need to make. To me, I heard if you don't want to work, you can't shop. So
that's pretty much what the subtitle was saying underneath my face.
Anyway, let me just say this right quick. Before we go on any further, I need to give a shout out to Miss Pamela Ware for checking Lovey about me talking about the Olympics. Thank you, Pamela. Yes, I may talk about the Olympics anytime I want to. and I can give Mike Tirico all the props that I want to give him. So I appreciate you, Pamela. Thank you. Just saying.
That's one of our listeners that reached
Tell
out.
Levy, you need to just back, basically.
She did. She did.
She probably didn't say it like that, but
pretty
I'm
close.
putting my spin on it. That's how she said it. She's like, look, she can do whatever she want to do. You don't worry about Snooks and the Olympics. We only get them once every 4 years. Mike did a great job. So you need to quit hating.
I'm going to leave it alone.
Thank you.
I'm going to leave it alone. So here's the thing. So all the food that you cooked tonight, how long do you think that's going to last?
Actually, I made extra. Sounds weird because it's summertime, but I had a taste for some homemade chili. So I made some homemade chili.
With ground chicken.
Ground chicken.
Because for whatever reason, when you make this chili and it's like, it's not the ground beef, it's ground chicken.
No,
the ground chicken's bomb.
Good. Well,
no, the regular chili is good, but no, there's just something about the ground chicken that makes it better.
For whatever reason, it's like it gives it a little bit of I feel like a little bit of a sweeter type of taste. So yeah, it's all homemade, and I just felt like I actually felt like it yesterday, but I made some today. So it'll last probably till Wednesday, maybe.
Right. I was meeting with a client earlier, and I'm sitting here on Zoom with my client, and all I can smell is this chili being made. And I'm like, oh, and it permeates throughout the house. Cause even the kids who always have their doors locked, the girls, there's no children, it's an 18 kids, and 21-year-old,
whatever.
But even they're coming out of their room, like sniffing, like, what's mom making? What's she doing? And the reason why I ask how long it lasts is because them things upstairs do not like leftovers.
You know, it's funny. I'm not a fan of leftovers either, but I eat them. But yeah, they for whatever reason, they little highfalutin little somethings, and they don't like to eat leftovers except for occasional dishes. Like they'll eat the chili. And remember when I make the stew, they'll eat the stew, but a lot of stuff they don't like to eat leftovers.
And it'll sit there forever. But here's the thing. I want to have a long discussion about leftovers, but not this kind of leftovers. Oh. Not this kind of leftovers, a different kind of leftovers. But before I go there, I'm going to talk about a different kind of leftovers. Leftovers like episodes 1 through 152, like episodes 1 through 153. See, I consider those leftovers that are always good for consumption. And that's the back catalog of the Married into Crazy podcast. We've been doing this since August of 2018. Actually, technically September 5th of August 2018.
Wow.
That's
crazy.
I said
3 years.
Wait. I just said
August.
So I said September 5th of August. Well, you know what I meant. I mean, we started in August. We made the decision to do a podcast in August. And then our first jump was September 5th. I didn't know what we were doing. We just jumped in.
Remember when we did we did a live in our backyard. It was like the preview of what Married into Crazy is going to be. This is so funny because now I'm thinking about it. And we were sitting in the backyard. It was on a Saturday. We had a little bit of music playing. It was all cool. And we had some people come through. It was really exciting, but it was also kind of scary.
And it was because we had no idea what we were doing. We're still figuring it out.
Do we know?
No.
Okay.
Well, I bring that up because what I'm inviting everybody to do is go into the catalog and listen to one. And I'd love to hear one of the older ones, kind of like the throwback, right? One of the older ones. Which one? Go back, listen to one. Let us know what you liked about it. Do that. And for those individuals that, as a matter of fact, go into our iTunes or Apple Podcasts, listen to one of the podcasts. I don't care how old it is. It could be a year ago. It could be last week. It could be 2 years ago. But go back, listen to it, and leave a post. Leave a review for that one. And what we'll do over the course of the next 2 weeks is we'll select randomly individuals that left a review and a rating, hopefully, and we'll send you on our dime. We will send you I Can.
Oh, okay.
So, we'll do it up to, I'm feeling generous. I'll do it for up to 5 people, up to 5. So the first 5 individuals that we select, I won't say the first 5, but we're going to randomly select 5 individuals. But go ahead and we will send you. will reach out to you.
I was about to say we got to reach out to get their information.
And then what we'll in turn do is get the information on the DM and then turn around and send it to you. So let's get back to the leftovers.
Okay, the leftovers.
So why do you think people don't, or kids or people in general don't like leftovers?
Because it's not fresh. It's not fresh. I know. Okay, for myself, I'm not there. There's certain things I don't want to eat because it's leftovers for that specific reason. Because it's not fresh, it doesn't taste the same as it does the next day. Like some people don't like chicken the next day. I love cold chicken, fried chicken, but some people don't like cold, warmed up fried chicken because it's not crispy no more. It's just kind of the flavor's still there, but sometimes the texture's off or whatever.
True,
so.
but some things taste better as leftovers, like cheesecake.
Oh.
Or gumbo.
For me, yeah, gumbo is like bomb the next day because it's like everything just marinates.
I feel like spaghetti as well. Maybe that's why too, the seasoning.
Some spaghettis.
But I feel like cheesecake is always better later.
I'm not a cheesecake fan, so
banana pudding before it starts to turn.
No, I like banana pudding the day of.
No, I like it.
I mean, I'll eat it the next day. Don't get me wrong.
Trust me, I'll eat it the next 5 days. I don't care what color it is. But the reason why I bring that up is because I think I think you're right when it comes to it's not fresh. It's not I guess fresh is the best word. So then why do we as couples come home and try and give our spouse our leftovers? And I'm not talking food. I'm talking about our leftover energy, our leftover attention, our leftover focus. We unfortunately, and both men and women are guilty of this, busy at work, doing these different things. And you want to have a conversation with your spouse, but you're just too tired or whatever. And what we do is, I got a meeting to go to. Like tonight, you had a church meeting to go to.
Like, why are you telling all my business? Like,
no, but I did
about me on the podcast.
No, okay. Well, look at me. For years, for the last 9 years, you were getting my leftovers after volleyball.
Oh,
for so long. Last year wasn't near as much because of my work, but for about 8 years straight,
they weren't even warmed up.
You were getting my leftovers when it came to, I won't say my leftovers, but
no, I know what you're saying. I don't know. I feel like because we're in our heads, we're thinking that we can accomplish all these things.
I can do it all.
I can do it all. But in actuality, we cannot. And when you have, I'll just use myself as an example. If I say I'm going to do these 5 things and I'm thinking I could do these 5 things in like 4 hours or whatever.
Right.
And it may take me 4 hours to do the one thing. And so now I'm scrambling because I have my mind dead set on getting those 5 things done. So I still have 4 things left to do. I don't have time for you all to, because you're messing up my plan.
Ain't nobody got time for you.
Ain't nobody got time for that. But you know what I'm saying? That's what I think. We let ourselves get pulled away by distractions. I guess you can call it that, but it's just a misconception of, we always think we can do more. Isn't there a saying or something? You think you can do more in the shorter period of time, but you underestimate what you can do in a longer period of time.
I think
something like that. I can't.
So we
overestimate what we can do in a short period of time, but we underestimate what we can accomplish in a long period of time.
Right. I've always heard that with some parameters placed around it. We underestimate or we overestimate what we can do in 3 months, but we underestimate what we can do in 3 years.
Okay. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
And I think too, that there's the fallacy of, we talked about, I can do it all. But also we feel like we can multitask. I think the greatest lie that has ever been told to the human race, well, not the human race, not the greatest lie. Cowboys being a good football team is probably the greatest lie.
Wow. Seriously?
Hey, football season's coming back, and I got to get my
I
Steelers
know.
digs
I'm
in there.
super excited about that.
But-
Anyway, we digress. Sorry.
But no, I think one of the greatest lies that we've told ourselves from a productivity standpoint is that we can do it all, that we can multitask. And we joke around saying women can multitask, I can do so much more. And it's true, just because I think moms have a tendency to be able to have to do it all, unfortunately. But honestly, our minds, the human mind is not built to multitask. Yes, you can get a lot of different things accomplished, but they're accomplished kind of halfway. They're not done to the best of the capacity of which you could do it.
Right.
They're done
enough just to say you got it done.
Right. They're done, but they're not done.
Right.
There's going to be a podcast about why we actually repeat things. I don't know why. Like, you hungry?
I'm hungry, but I'm not hungry.
Right. I mean, she's sexy, but she's not sexy. You know, she ain't like Snooks. No, but it's one of those things where that's what we believe. And unfortunately, we believe the exact same thing when it comes to our relationships. We have a tendency to think that, okay, you know what? When I'm at work, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to do this, and then when I get home, I'm going to do this. I'm going to move over there and do that. And then I got to go to this meeting. Then I come back over here. And we expect that we act like we're the Energizer Bunny. Like, we can just like keep going and going and going. And you're sitting going, doing. You can just keep it moving. Some people are high energy, but what price do you pay?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that even with high energy, there's a price that we pay. Because like you said, a lot of times when we're multitasking, we're accomplishing things, but are we accomplishing them at a high level? Sometimes we're just accomplishing something just to get it done so that we can move on to the next thing. I'm not necessarily saying that you don't do a good job when you do that during your multitask, but let's move away from good and let's try to get to great, and then from great be phenomenal in all the things that we do. That requires our attention. I this is just my little opinion, but I feel like that requires our attention. And if I'm multitasking, I'm not giving phenomenal attention. I'm just giving good enough attention so I can get it done and get it out my way.
Come on.
So, and then, that kind of, it can feed back into like the leftover scenario with our spouses. I think the problem is, one of the issues I should say, is that we take our spouses so for granted. That's where the leftover mentality for me comes into play, because you understand that I'm busy and I have all these other things that I have to do. And I understand that you're busy and you have all these other things that you have to do. And when you don't give me the attention that I need, I know you don't mean any harm, and so I shouldn't take it personal, though I do sometimes, or I feel like you're like, oh, well, oh, you got this to do. Okay, well, I understand. And I'm giving you my leftovers. There are times when you check me and you be like, hey, hold on, what are you doing? Or I'm like, dude, what's up? She
says that too. She says, dude, what's up?
Be quiet. See, you just broke up I was jamming.
You were.
Get on my nerve.
I'm sorry. You lost your train of thought? I'm sorry.
Whatever.
I'm so sorry. No.
Anyway.
But it's the truth. You sit there and we do take each other for granted. Even when you say you don't, I mean, we love each other immensely. And yet
sometimes
we do. Oh, wow. We do take each other for granted.
Yeah.
And here's the funny thing about leftovers. Even when it's food, you serve it up like, okay, I made this day and it's a carryover to the next day. Right. And it dwindles. Some things taste great later, but some things don't. Mm-hmm. And then the other person looks at it like, I don't want to eat that. I don't want nothing to do with them leftovers. Mm-hmm. And so then we have the audacity to get upset with our spouse when we give the leftovers, and they look at us and they go, I don't want that. Why are you trying to give me these secondhand emotions, the secondhand energy? Mm-hmm. You're just leaving me a little bit. And what you're giving me is crap. I don't want this little bit of, if you were giving me a little bit and it's all you had and it was intense and it was all focused on me, that's one thing. But if it's you're giving me something and it's like crap time, I mean, for lack of a better phrase, you know what I mean? It's not good quality.
Well, and I don't mean to cut you off, but it's almost like the intent in which it served. So this just take us, for example, there are days when I'm like, I
Uh-oh.
am not cooking what's in the refrigerator. I'll open the refrigerator up and I may not want to eat anything that's in there, but there's leftovers. I'm like, oh, we finna get rid of these today. This is what we gonna eat. And so I'm pulling out whatever Tupperware, foil paper, whatever it is, and I'm putting it up, I'm divvying it up and putting it on plates. And they're like, what? I'm like, you finna eat that. But the intent in which it wasn't so much that I gave it like really lovingly. I just gave it to get rid of it, to say I fed you, you know. And
Wow.
sometimes that could be the thing with in our relationships. Let's talk about intimacy.
Ooh.
um I'm just the heart and the vein in which that I'm giving it to you. I'm just doing it just so that you don't say, so I could come back and say, well, at least I did blah blah blah, because I'm checking a box at that point.
She said she's giving it up
Why do you
just to
always
say,
do that?
just to say,
Love me.
hey, you can't say we didn't
Oh my gosh.
because we did.
Oh my gosh. You know what? People are gonna
I
be
was
like,
kind of there, but I was reading. I'm what you doing? I'm just reading a book. Go on, do what you're doing. No, it's no, it's funny you say that because that's a word right there. It's the intent in which it's being given, just to check the box, like you were saying, and just I did that. I was there for you. I listened to you. I was there. We had our talk. We had a conversation. I made time for you, but it was like the energy was all bad because it's like okay, well let's just sit down. Okay, whatever. Okay, let's just sit down.
or you look at your watch.
Right. You look at your watch, your phone. I mean, so
How long we got left?
right. So no, really, it's all about the intent. I think a lot of times it's just all about the intent. If the leftover is all you have because you're grinding it out for the family, it doesn't make it right. Does not make it right at all. Because I know ET has talked about it multiple times about how Dee Dee was like, this ain't right. You going out giving your best to all these tens of thousands of people, and you're raising the quality of their lives. You're giving them hopes and dreams, and you're telling them that they can. And then by the time you get home, this is what I get.
Right. And don't come in here talking about, well, I'm doing it for you. No, you
Right.
ain't.
Oh, and Dee Dee did say that.
Oh, did she?
Yes, she did. And it's one of those things where it's like, she's right. Every woman is right. Every husband is right. Every person in that boat is absolutely correct. Look, give an effort where you are at work. Do what you're supposed to. You're supposed to go there, and you at some point you prayed for that job. You prayed for that opportunity. You prayed for whatever it is that's commanding the time of day that you're there. Even if he's like, I hate my job. Well, you prayed for it. You applied for it. You wanted it at some point for some reason. So, I mean, I get it when things become frivolous or it's a toxic environment, all that, blah, 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 all aside. But be the best that you could possibly be in those particular moments when you're there. But also recognize that you need to keep some energy on reserve. So when I travel, I went to San Jose recently for work, and then I was out in New Jersey. And just when I travel, I have my phone with me. The worst thing that could possibly happen is if your phone dies. So what do? I carry an extra battery pack with me so I can always plug in my phone, right? And it's actually in my car with me at all times. So we need to make sure that we've got some energy on reserve for our spouses. That means that no matter what I give, you've got to find a moment, some time, something, somewhere where you can re-energize, plug back in, because the moment you get home and your spouse is there, you need to be ready to give some energy. And I'm talking about good energy.
Well, and a lot of times too, because not everyone has the luxury of talking to their spouse throughout the day. Like you said, I started a new job today, and I didn't get to talk to Lovey. Usually we'll talk a few times throughout the day, on the phone, or I may send him an email and wait for him to respond to me or whatever. But we didn't verbally talk today. I talked to him. I think when I got in the car, we talked for a minute, but he still was like, "Oh, how was your day?" I know he was working all day too, but he didn't make me feel like what or whatever it was because it was towards the end of the day, you know. He was energetic. I was tired, but
Have a genuine interest.
yeah, you got to put forth that effort. And even if you have to give yourself, give yourself some time to collect and be ready. Um Make it be sincere with the energy, be sincere with, okay, let's sit down and let's talk or whatever it is.
And listen, I know that we all come from different backgrounds, different socioeconomic backgrounds, different cultures, different ethnicities. There's so many different people that listen to the Married into Crazy podcast. And I'm grateful for each and every one of you. I know for a fact that we have people that are because they've reached out. I've spoken to them. I know that we have fire captains for fire departments um, that listen to it. I know that we have police detectives that listen. I know that we have single mothers that listen. I know that we have single people, period, that listen. We have people that are in sales, people that are in retail, people that are, I know ministers that listen. There's so many different individuals, so many different backgrounds. And I say all that because some of these things, I know there are psychologists and counselors that listen. I've spoken with as well. And we all have these different jobs and everybody has a different pull, a different strain, a different amount of energy that's taken out of them. They're very trying occupations. And you're probably asking yourself, well, how do I regenerate that energy? Because you don't understand it. What I do is so difficult. It's so hard. How do I go, run into a building that's burning on fire, or I'm an EMT and I've been sitting here, I've been saving lives and driving through traffic and getting shot at for running into a building to save somebody else. How do I deal with all that? And plus you got COVID on top of that. And then you want me to come home and have some energy on reserve for my spouse? How do you even do that? And I don't want to sound trite. It's the intent. When you look at all the things that you're doing, I have friends, even my brother. My brother is a detective, and there are people. I have friends that are retired police, and the thing that keeps them going is, I just want to get home. There's a reason why you want to get home. If you're EMT, there's a reason you want to get home. The fire chief that I know, that listens to the podcast, he just wants to get home to his family. My wife wants to just get home to her family. Are you just raising your hand?
Because I was about to say,
I was like, oh, you want to get home to me, babe?
I do want to get home to you. Of course I do.
Okay, so.
But one thing, I kind of like, let me sit. I'm not trying to take all of the energy away from the firefighter and the police officer or whatever, when they're doing their job, because it's a very dangerous job and these are the things that they go through. But one thing that I feel like we forget is that when you're married to someone that does those things, you kind of do those things also. You're not out there physically, but when they come home or you come home and you're feeling in a slump or you're feeling some kind of way and you're grumpy or you're grouchy, they're going through the emotions also, So when you're upset, your spouse is dealing with your behavior or your attitude or the reasons why you're upset. They may not know why you're upset, but you tend to take it out on the person who's closest to you. So you you know so I someone said, well, you don't know what I go through and you don't know blah blah blah. No, I don't know, but I know how you're responding to me. So in a sense, I'm kind of going through it also. I'm not physically there, but mentally when you come home and you're dumping on me or you're unloading on me or you're withholding emotionally from me, I'm going through it with you. I just don't know. I'm just in the dark about the actual things that maybe you did. One thing that we talked about when you got stabbed, and your recovery, everyone was focused on
Me.
Lovey. Oh, we have to make sure he's well. And we did. We needed to make sure that he was okay and everything was all right. But a lot of times we forget, well, I was left in the dark. I was left in the dust. Everyone forgot about me. And I didn't take it out on him. And I didn't even realize it until later on that, oh, wait, I needed some healing too, because it was a trauma that happened and I went through it. I just didn't physically get stabbed, but I was still there. So the person who's out there in the field and they're doing the job and they're doing whatever, when they tend to bring that stuff home, and that puts the spouse or the partner right there with them, because they're also going through it, because I have to deal with your emotions and your attitude and stuff like that.
Oh, it's absolutely true. I mean, it's just, it takes a lot. And there's a lot of people. I know I mentioned like people with dangerous jobs, like first responders, but there's also doctors, there's nurses, there,
They're state workers.
there's state workers, there's construction workers. Come on. I mean, I know guys that do heavy machinery work. And, you know, when you're a heavy equipment operator, that's extremely difficult and hot. And it's hard. When you got somebody that's out there digging ditches, we always say digging ditches, but they're doing so much more than that. They're laying concrete, you know, they're paving concrete, they're laying tar. These things take so much out of you physically. And you're asking, how do I do that for 12 hours and then come home? We've got friends and family that are correction officers that are just stressed to the gills. And yet at some point, you have to think about what's most important to me. Why am I doing what I do on a daily basis? And when I get home, I can't take that for granted. I can't, my spouse deserves so much more than my leftovers. And it's always going to be the intent. There's going to be times where you are done. You're just so tired. You have nothing left to give. Those days will happen. But if you've made a habit of giving your spouse the best that you possibly could, I guarantee that on those days, your spouse is going to do his or her best
Right.
to help you recharge.
Yep. I agree with that.
They will be there for you. But if you're constantly giving them nothing but the leftovers, you make them feel as if, you know, they're not good enough to get your best, then on those days, they're not going to have the empathy. They're not going to have the sympathy. They're not going to have the energy. Because when you need them most, the last thing you're going to want is their leftovers.
Mm.
So let's work on making sure that we are not giving the people that we love the most the thing in the back of the refrigerator.
That's been sitting for 2 months.
Right. That might be a little moldy. Right. Let's not give them the moldy emotions. Let's not give them the expired intent. Let's not give them that thing that was gathering dust in our hearts or in our minds. It's not a token of appreciation. It's let me make sure I'm giving you the absolute best, because it's almost like the widow's mite. If all I have to give you when I get home, because I'm so burnt out, is this little 5 cents of what I have left of me, I guarantee your spouse is going to take that and enjoy it, because it is of you and you're giving it with an open hand, with an open heart. But if it's a reluctant giving, if you're coming in and you're like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, whatever. You know what? Fine. I'll give this to you. That's different.
Mm-hmm.
So let's make sure we have the right intent when we're giving what we're giving. And I just felt like it was time to really talk about the leftovers and make sure we're giving our best to each other. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Sermon is over. Now it's time to pass the plate.
So crazy.
So here's my Cash App. No. So this is the time where what we do is we give each other, let me reach for it. Here, I'll let you shake it up last time. So I just want to report that Snooks did not wash my car or do my laundry from last week. I am snitching. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. You did the laundry.
I was about to say.
Remember, we switched. So this is when we're doing the I can. This is where we have the, and
Yeah.
I know I didn't wash my car.
Whose car?
Mine.
My car.
Oh, we didn't switch it up like that.
So I'm just supposed to switch and do your stuff, but you don't do mine? Wow.
So what it says this week is I can be more fiscally responsible. We're going to need to switch again. What's your
Anyway, I can find ways to serve my partner by giving him leftovers.
And again, what we're going to do is just as a reminder for those individuals that will go and listen to some of the podcasts in the archive and leave a review on Apple Podcasts, we will pick 5 randomly, and we will be sending you your very own I can for couples. Boom. She shows it up. She always puts it up, and then there's nobody can see it because of the light and the glare.
They can see it.
You can't see that. Look at that. What is that?
Okay, first of all, my arm wasn't way back here. It was up there.
See, if you're watching YouTube, now we're having a war on YouTube. So, and she's put it over my face.
Okay.
Good job. That was good. All right, you guys. Hey, we love and appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, go tell your mama, tell your auntie, tell your granny, tell somebody about the Married and Crazy podcast. And I think that's it.
Well, I wanted to say too.
At the very end. Go ahead.
Wow. I was going to say be blessed, but I wasn't. No, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say, though, if you find that, you're in need of some help in the not to have leftover department, don't forget Lovey and I, marriedandcrazy.com. You can go and get some coaching. We can help you. We have some tools.
We got some tools.
Anyway,
definitely do that. Go to marriedandcrazy.com. Take a look at our coaching
skillets.
page. There's a lot of information there. Soon we're going to be changing things up a little bit, but we'll be collecting some testimonies, stuff like that from our existing clients, both past and present. And anyway, if you feel compelled and you want to take your relationship to the next level, definitely go ahead and check us out. Until the next time,
be blessed.
be blessed.
Bye-bye.